Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Miguel Mendez, marketing specialist here at Unravel Data. And before we get started, there are three housekeeping reminders that I would like to cover. The first is, throughout the webinar, please drop your questions into the question box, and we'll do our best to answer them live or respond via email if we're short on time. If you submit one of the top 10 questions during this event as ranked by one of our fantastic panelists, you'll earn some cool Unravel swag. Additionally, this webinar will be available instantly on demand to listen to at your leisure, so feel free to pause or replay as needed. And lastly, help us improve. Share your feedback on the session by rating this webinar, and let us know if there are any other topics you'd like to hear about. All right, that covers it. So with the reminders out of the way, the floor is all yours.
Hi, my name is Clinton Ford, VP of Product Marketing at Unravel, and I'm joined today by Prajakta Kalma, Product Innovation Leader at Unravel. Today, we're going to talk about data observability and FinOps for high-volume users of Databricks. We will discuss how you can accelerate time to value with AI that is purpose-built for Databricks. We will show how new product capabilities help you achieve time to value through productivity and cost efficiency with Unravel. So here's a look at our agenda. We'll start by taking a look at some of the top challenges to achieving time to value with data analytics and AI. Next, we'll review the options for data observability and FinOps. Then I'll share an overview of Unravel. At that point, I'll hand it over to Prajakta to share some recent updates to Unravel for Databricks, share a demo, and address some of the top questions that you have asked during the event. So let's dive right in. So Mark Sear is the Director of Data Integration, AI, Machine Learning, and Analytics at Maersk, one of the world's largest logistics companies. Like many organizations moving their data workloads to the cloud, the company soon found that its cloud data costs were very rapidly rising to unacceptable levels. Data analytics are core to the business, but the cost of its cloud data workloads was simply getting too unpredictable and expensive. Cloud data expenses had to be brought under control. So Mark is not the only one facing this challenge. More than half of companies are struggling to deliver time to value. Why? Well, first, they don't have the staff. A shortage of talent means companies are not getting the full value from their data because they don't have enough skilled resources to deliver. Their skilled engineers spend too much time doing toilsome work. Data engineering and data ops teams are bogged down in non-value-added work that does not drive business results. IDC reported that broken data pipelines are the second biggest reason why AI projects fail. Their cloud data costs are out of control. Companies can't determine a reliable ROI that makes sense because they can't manage it or forecast outcomes. They're unable to optimize data workloads. Organizations find it's difficult to get the most out of their cloud data platforms. They're unable to optimize data pipeline code to improve workload efficiency and get the lowest possible cost. So together, these are some of the biggest challenges that are holding organizations back from being able to maximize the positive impact of data for their business, fully achieve the innovation and efficiencies they need from their data. And without solving for these things, you run the risk of falling behind because data is what is driving success. And if you get behind, it's hard to catch up. So data observability and FinOps help to optimize productivity and cost efficiency. You can boost capacity by shifting left with self-service, so more engineers can participate effectively, enable everybody to do more no matter their skill level, and deliver more value-added work. In cost efficiency, you get visibility and control, so governance with guardrails, showback, chargeback, and budgets, and optimize code and workloads to get the lowest possible cost. So companies who buy Unravel often start with homegrown tools developed in-house and based on open source software, but these are difficult to use and require a skilled team. As they experience the need for more regular and consistent reporting, they frequently turn to built-in tooling and instrumentation from cloud service and cloud data platform providers. But these tools often lack the granularity needed for data platform showback and chargeback. Then, as their cloud usage rapidly expands, they turn to third-party generalist tools. But these generally lack full data stack visibility, even though they provide a more comprehensive breadth of visibility. And as the data platform grows to support data and AI pipelines and applications, they tend to adopt purpose-built data observability tools to enable productivity, performance, and cost efficiency. So what should an ideal data observability and FinOps solution include? Well, here are some criteria to help guide your decision. So these are some elements of an ideal data observability and FinOps solution. And the goal is, to describe what your perfect solution would look like and just help you later as you make choices about which options to make the most sense for you and your situation, and to pursue those to achieve your desired outcomes. So how does Unravel work? Well, Unravel is the only AI-powered data observability and FinOps platform that enables you to shift left, enabling self-service for your entire team, enable everyone, experts and non-experts, to be more productive with AI insights that free teams up from all the manual work and rework that hurt productivity. Optimize the performance of your data and AI pipelines, and gain visibility into the costs and help ensure cost efficiency is optimal to achieve your business goals. So on the left is your enterprise cloud data analytics platform. And what Unravel does is it ingests telemetry from your platform into these self-service data ops views that are automated and available out of the box. Then the Unravel AI Insights engine is able to provide insights and recommendations to help optimize performance, enable FinOps, chargeback and showback, create budgeting guardrails, and also integrate with CI/CD processes so that developers can quickly spot code inefficiencies before they ever go into production. And then automates your whole solution, providing guardrails and alerting to enable you to hit your SLAs and achieve cost efficiency goals. So Maersk is one of the largest logistics companies in the world, as we mentioned, with their own airline and hundreds of warehouses globally. They saw a 70% cost efficiency improvement within 6 months of deploying Unravel to use purpose-built AI to improve efficiency. And so now there are more than 3,000 data engineers use AI to validate all of their code before it goes into production. So Mark's team leverages automation and AI to empower every individual data engineer with self-service capability to optimize their jobs for performance and cost. Unravel is the most proven data observability and FinOps platform, a member of the FinOps Foundation, named Best Data Tool and Platform of 2023 as part of the annual Cody Awards, and named to the Big Data 100 list for the 5th consecutive year, and is among the inaugural group of coolest data observability companies of 2023. Named by Gartner as a sample vendor for both data observability and augmented FinOps. So with that, I'm happy to connect you with Prajakta from our product innovation team. She's a leader there, and we'll share some of the things that are new in Unravel for Databricks. Over to you, Prajakta. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. My name is Prajakta, and I am the product innovation lead at Unravel. I have been at Unravel for more than 4 years now. A couple of years ago, I took a break and I pursued my executive MBA at Oxford University. And now, 6 months back, I returned to Unravel as a product innovation lead. And currently, I'm heading the Databricks and AI product verticals. So let me take some time today to walk you through the latest and greatest product capabilities that Unravel has built for the Databricks customers. So in today's demo and walkthrough, I would talk about how the latest releases from Unravel help the Databricks customers boost their productivity, the performance of their environments, and create a more cost-conscious and efficient outcome for their teams. So the goals of today's discussion are threefold. First of all, we will talk about how the self-service experience is enabled with free data observability for the Databricks customers with the introduction of our standard free tier. Then we will get into the details of how we have made our AI faster to help the customers quickly troubleshoot, drive action, and meet their SLAs for their pipelines and their workflows. And finally, we will talk about how Unravel also helps the customers look at some of the untapped savings, the savings that they may have missed out in the recent runs, or some potential savings they will have if they apply some of the Unravel recommendations, which can help them simplify decisions and surface some of the actionable insights to hit their cost-efficient targets. So precisely, in today's demo and walkthrough, we will be covering Unravel standard free tier offering on how Unravel provides free data observability. Then we will talk through one of our really cool and latest features, which is actionability for everyone, where we will talk about how Unravel enables actionable insights for every persona, right from the executives to the developers. We will see how we have enhanced the platform to generate some on-demand insights for our customers. We will talk briefly about the persona for the developers and how Unravel Assistant sits in the CI/CD pipelines and helps review the codes that the developers are writing and creates more transparency and accountability. Then we will look at some of the pricing changes that have come up with the recent releases. And we'll see how the current billing page supports for these pricing breakdowns and creates more transparency into how Unravel is charging. We will look at some of the changes we have done to support the latest and greatest Databricks runtime, like 13.x and 14.x and so on. And finally, we'll talk about some key performance and reliability improvements and some key announcements. So this is something that we have also encountered when talking to our customers, where the competitive tools like Overwatch is something that have helped the customers meet some essential needs, but it just stops there. Like the learning curve is very steep. Customers have to go through a lot of knobs and tunes to get Overwatch or other competition tuned to their requirements and so on. And one of our motivations of rolling out the Databricks standard free tier was exactly for customers who wanted a complete observability solution for their environments and still did not want the tie-ups and the lock-in for an extended period of time with these kinds of solutions, where it is much more easier for them to try out the capabilities of a product like Unravel, still get complete observability, get a real-time visibility into what is happening with their clusters, their workspaces, their user environments, and so on, right? Still provide the greatest insights that Unravel aims to provide for different personas, help with automated cluster discovery, and basically ease out by removing the barriers to entry into Unravel, and support a business model that suits them by letting the customers explore for an extended period of time with the free offering. And whenever they think that it is something that they would like to upgrade to a pro plan, which offers insights and more deep dives into recommendations, how to apply them, what is it that it will give them in terms of the ROI and so on, then they can definitely upgrade to the pro plan that Unravel has to offer. So let's start with looking into some of the freemium or standard free plan capabilities. So in a freemium plan, when you come to this Unravel page, right? So this is the very familiar environment. This is how Unravel customers will create a free account, come to the page, landing page. They would look at some of the, what is the cost rating of their environments? Are their spends uncontrolled? Are they poor? How do they rate in terms of their untapped savings? What has been the actual cost spent over the last 7 days? So for premium customers, our data retention period is 7 days by default. And for those 7 days, we give the cost breakdown and untapped savings breakdown for the customers. We show the cost trends and corresponding untapped savings on the 7-day period, right? And some key KPIs around the jobs and job runs and users and so on. Coming to the very familiar cost tabs. So Unravel in the free version provides observability into what has been the DBU usage spend and so on, the number of cluster sessions that were running, a more drill down into the different run types, right? The only thing is for cost related insights, customers will have to click on upgrade plan and upgrade to the pro version to see the cost related breakdowns on every tab or use case asset. Here they can see that the chargeback by users as an example. But then the approximate DBUs and cluster sessions are shown, but the cost is something that is hidden in the free tier offering. Budgets is something that they can avail with the pro plan with either a pay-as-you-go model where they can keep on paying monthly, or you can also pay in advance with a more with a better deal that suits to your business needs. Coming to the compute page, where customers can select last 7 days, you can see what all clusters have been running in the last 7 days. Look at their statuses. The cost related details are again hidden. You can click on one of the, let's say, apps here, come to this page, look at some details of execution, navigation, and so on. But the insights would be something that is not available as part of the free tier. For getting more insights, they would have to upgrade the plan. But the resources and configurations and errors and so on would be something that is available to the customer. So this is like a sneak peek into what Unravel provides with their free tier capabilities. Let's go back into looking into some of the other very recent changes that we have done with the product. Now, one of the pain points that some of the customers have been talking about is around how do I reduce my time to value? How do my teams act on the insights that Unravel is generating? How do I make sure that these insights are something that I can trace through, that people are looking at it, people are applying them, what value does it give them, and so on. So with these pain points in mind, Unravel decided to work on 3 goals specifically to accelerate the time to value. Actionability, specifically, how can Unravel help the teams save a certain dollar value on a particular day, on a particular selected period, and so on. Can they make sure that, with the new insights that we are showing, the teams know what to do next, how to operationalize it, how to apply the insights, and so on. And then finally, the adoption part, where the insights are there, the recommendations are there, but we needed transparency into tracing how do the teams apply those recommendations, whether they are applying them or not, and so on. So to create that, Unravel now provides actionability for every single persona, right from the executives who would be looking at the insights to the developers who would be acting on those insights. For example, for insights for the executives, we have cost and savings summary, which I will show shortly on the home page itself. We show the cluster health, as I briefly showed in the standard free tier, to check out the financial health of the workspaces and so on. From that pages, customers can go to the next level of persona who will be acting and looking at, hey, who needs to work on these? What are the top jobs or clusters that we need to work on? What is it that we can get maximum savings into and all? And finally, insights for the developers, where we integrate with the CI/CD pipelines and create a cost-conscious culture amongst the developers by showing them that what is the cost of applying a particular change or merging your code. Is it something that is going to lead into a bad code in the production? With this, we actually help the customers arrest the bad apps even before they go into the production, and as a result of that, promote accountability and transparency within the teams. So quickly moving into some really cool demo here. So this is the Unravel's latest release environment, where on the home page, you will be now able to see the cost rating. How is your health of the cluster? Whether it is uncontrolled, does it lack governance? Are the expenses inflated? Is it poor, suggesting that, a lot of recommendations and insights are being ignored? Are there potential budget overruns? Is it in a managed state where your teams are applying the Unravel recommendations, but there is still some room for more cost savings and high performance that Unravel can help you with? Or is it in an optimized state where the teams are really using all the Unravel insights, capping up all the cost savings, and as a result, reaching a peak of cost efficiency and productivity boost? So apart from cost ratings, where the customers, you can connect your workspaces to Unravel and look at the health. You can also look at the cost breakdown for different compute types. And correspondingly, you can also look into the untapped savings, where we show you a potential range of savings that you can achieve with the insights that we are providing. And this is specifically broken down by the compute types. For every compute type, we show a different estimated range of savings that you can achieve with Unravel. The total cost trend gives you a breakdown of the daily usage, broken down by the compute type, and the untapped savings that you would have with Unravel, again broken down by the compute type. And the relative display here basically lets you know that on a particular day, how much did you actually lose out by not applying these recommendations from Unravel. We show the KPIs for every compute type that we are supporting in the latest release: all-purpose compute, job-light compute, and so on. The second tab here in the home page is something that is meant for the next level of details. Let's say the executives, the finance practitioners who are taking a look at this page, and you are realizing that the costs have really overshot on a particular day, and you want to do something about it, right? The topics page kind of gets you into a more drill down aspect by providing a flexibility into looking at the top 5 or the top 10 of the most wasted clusters or jobs with the potential to give you the most savings, or the most expensive clusters, and look at what is the untapped savings that you can basically work on, so that you maximize the investment that you have put into Unravel and get the untapped savings applied on a priority basis. So most wasted cost on all-purpose compute. This is basically for interactive clusters, where we showcase that these are the top 5 clusters, or let's say I picked 10 here. So these are the top 10 clusters which have really wasted resources and misconfigurations, as a result of which, like, Unravel projects that you could end up saving X amount of dollars annually if you apply the recommendations that we have on these clusters. Most savings with migrating jobs. So this is a new type of optimization insights that Unravel is introducing, where we look at all the interactive or all-purpose jobs and see the potential for moving some of these jobs with different patterns to job compute, saving you some cost there. So let's come back to top 5 here for a moment so that we can walk through the rest of the use cases here. Most savings on all-purpose compute. So this basically combines the greatest all savings that Unravel can help you achieve on all-purpose compute, their costs and their corresponding untapped savings. Most expensive clusters, which is based on the dollar cost of your workspaces that you have connected. These are the most expensive clusters. And then you can also look at what are the untapped savings that Unravel projects on these clusters that can help you optimize them further and save 29% cost or 37% cost and so on. Then we finally look at most expensive jobs on job compute, which is the jobs or the workflows that you are executing at a signature level. When you combine their past runs over X number of days, then what is the cost of these jobs that you are incurring, and what is the potential savings that Unravel can give on some of these most expensive jobs? And then on a similar lines, we look at the most savings that you can get with the signature at the signature level for recurring jobs, which are executing on job compute. So you look at their costs, and then we also show the untapped savings that are available for these jobs. You can navigate by looking at some of the widgets on these pages. And this is just a beginning. We are planning to support a lot more and extend these insights in our upcoming releases as well. Now, coming to the optimized page. Now, let's say we have looked at what are the untapped savings, what are the cost breakdowns. Then we come to the topics. We look at which ones do we need to really surface onto our priority list. We need to act on them and so on. But what do we do now? Like once we have identified which ones need to be acted upon, we come to the optimized tab and look at what kind of savings am I going to get by applying the recommendations that Unravel has to suggest, right? And let's say you come to this particular tab, you look at resource scaling insights, and then you see that 126 jobs have a potential to save with Unravel. So you can click here and then go to the familiar page of the inefficient apps, where we show which all insights and their counts in the left side panel. And we show all the inefficient jobs here, where you can click on one of the jobs and then go into the savings potential that you have with different bottlenecks like bad joins and contented driver, and the dollar cost savings in terms of the untapped savings that you can get by reconfiguring the clusters. Here you see an example of on-demand insights, and I'll come to it shortly. But this is something that our latest release is offering in terms of looking at different insights from a very high level 360 view to get a perspective of what types of insights are going to help you save a certain amount of dollars. And you can also play around with the last 14 days. How did it look like? Last 7 days, what was the health of my cluster? Last 30 days, what was happening, right? So all these trends and changes you would be able to see on the home page itself. Coming back to more use cases. So this is where we show how Unravel is now offering actionability for every different types of personas and helping the customers go from looking at the top level view to the more detailed view. Health Check ROI is our similar app on the App Store. So for those of you who are familiar that Unravel provides an App Store, some of these capabilities are there in the Health Check ROI app. So if you go to the App Store on Unravel, let me make sure I'm sharing the right screen. So you can, so from home page, you can go to the App Store. click on the Health Check ROI app. And look at some of these breakdowns that we were talking about earlier. Like you can see the daily cost trends. These are all the Databricks entities that you can see in one panel. Look at the savings. Look at the hierarchical breakdown of the automated or job compute, and then for interactive compute, what was the cost of this particular workspace? What is the cost of the clusters in that workspace, and so on. You can dive deeper into each of these entities to look at some of the trends and topics. For example, which are the top users and what have been their costs that you have incurred in the past 60 days. The user cost trends are shown here. And then you can scroll down further to look at the total cost and then sort it and navigate across different pages to look at more users. Similar experience on the workspaces tabs, looking at the trends and the details and so on. For all the interactive clusters, trends and the breakdowns by their IO bytes, number of sessions, and so on. And finally, on the jobs tab, where you look at the signature level details for recurring jobs. Coming to workload optimization. So on this page, we basically provide a breakdown of the resource utilization. How is the resource utilization looking for your job compute clusters, where one of the important insights that Unravel provides today is about node right sizing to change the configurations and so on. So you can click on a particular signature here, look at the details, look at the metrics on the average and max resource utilizations. And within this view itself, you can get some of these recommendations for a quick application by going through these tables. When you scroll down, you look at the sunburst chart, where we show some candidates for applying the recommendations, like which are your jobs, what are the jobs and clusters that fit under the, let's say, low memory, low CPU, and so on categories. So this information on the executor level, at the driver level and all, helps you look at how to prioritize some of the jobs that you want to apply the recommendations on. Job migration is something that we talked about earlier in the use case on the home page, where for these signature level jobs, users can look at some of the explanations on why are we suggesting to migrate these clusters to an all-purpose compute, to a job compute cluster and so on. And finally, in the cluster optimization tab, we can look at the all-purpose clusters and look at the total clusters, the session cost, what has been the total wastage, something that we actually saw on the home screen in the topics, but here we aggregate and summarize it. We look at the migration savings, we look at the overall savings, and we can further drill down on this view to look at which applications that we are suggesting should be moved together onto the job compute. Coming back, so this was one of the latest app features. Now I want to briefly talk about the on-demand cost savings that we were almost discussing earlier when we were talking about how Unravel has adapted its insights for different personas. So on-demand cost savings is something that we had introduced earlier, but some of the issues that we faced or feedback that we got was like, the text around this is very verbose, and then it used to take a long amount of time to wait for the insights to get generated. And then the interface was not very intuitive, where we had to scroll down to look at all the recommended instances and compare it with the current instances and all. So we came up with a more intuitive narration of the same insights, but with also a very refined experience. So we now show the savings aggregated for a single run the savings for a single run aggregated for all the runs in the last 10 days, so that you can get a view of how much you could end up saving if you had applied the recommended instance that Unravel is showing here. We have a more intuitive display, which is comparison friendly, where you can look at, the memory, which is the current instance, and then what are the memory and cores and types of the recommended instances, compare it with the current instance. And we also showcase like, why is that we are recommending the option, certain option? Is it because it helps you get the maximum savings, or is it from the same instance family, and so on? So these explanations are also provided in the tooltips. So for you to have a much refined experience on understanding the on-demand cost and insights feature on Unravel. So briefly coming back to where we left it there. So on this page, when you go to compute, you can look at the node right sizing recommendations. You come to the page, expand on it, and then here you can see that, this is the savings you could get per run. And you look at the 16 runs for the same job that executed in the last days. This is the aggregated amount of savings you can get. And this is the more intuitive display of the driver node recommendations of what Unravel is recommending, and the worker node recommendations on and how much it will help you get in terms of the potential savings per run. Coming to the third part of the actionability, where for every persona, we are looking at providing these insights and making sure that from the high level view, we drill down into a view where we know what to pick up as the next priority for actionability, and then who's going to work on it, and so on. But ultimately, it is the developers in most of the cases who are going to apply the code optimization related insights, or they are going to make changes that Unravel is recommending. So one important feature that we have recently rolled out, and we have talked about this in other forums as well, is the Unravel Assistant that sits into the CI/CD pipeline of the DevOps lifecycle, and make sure that when developers are raising a pull request for their code changes, they can benchmark those pull requests against similar runs in the past, or provide a list of runs that they specifically want to look at and compare their current changes with. And then Unravel Assistant works wonders behind the scene and renders some crucial insights about the code inefficiencies or potential performance bottlenecks that may end up happening if this particular change or a piece of code lands into the production. So what we can see here is we provide these insights integrated into your Azure DevOps lifecycle or your GitHub lifecycle, and so on. And please feel free to reach out to our teams on how we are doing it for a more detailed demo around Unravel Assistant and its capabilities. Some of the things that it provides is like, it helps create a cost-conscious culture where the cost-driven insights are now in the hands of the developers. They can see the dollar impact a particular change is going to have if they end up committing that change and merging it into the production code. It also gives some power into the hands of the DevOps personnel or the people who are looking at these, let's say the release managers and all, who can enforce actions and reject some of these pull requests if they see that some of the cost impact related insights have not been worked upon. Finally, it also helps to drive accountability and by creating more transparency. For example, you can configure your Slack or your other messaging services to make sure that any PRs that were not acted upon or insights, or whenever a PR is raised by Unravel Assistant, it is tracked into the Slack notifications. It comes to the channel that you desire. Unravel also auto-creates a Jira ticket if you have done your integration of Jira with the Unravel Assistant configurations. And it auto-creates these tickets, links them so that you can track it as part of your release cycle and see what is the cost impact of these tickets, who's the person who needs to act on it, have they worked on it, have they resolved it, and so on. And we plan to soon bring these capabilities into the main Unravel product as well. Coming back to some other capabilities. So until now, Unravel has been charging the same price for all the compute types to the customers. And this is something that we wanted to change and align with the market trends and the competitive landscape around how the charging is done. So we introduced something called as pricing by the compute types, where we provide a flexibility for you to opt for what compute types you want us to monitor, give you a flexibility into looking at those prices if you are paying us in advance and then giving discounts and so on, right? So this is something that I would highly recommend to look at and Unravel then based on how, if you have opted for a monthly plan with a pay-as-you-go model or a contract plan with our pay in advanced options in the pro plan itself, we give you different views of the breakdowns where we show you the build cost over time. We show what is the balance of your credit, if you have purchased the Unravel credits in advance, and then also show a very detailed breakdown and your transitions from, let's say, one plan to another and so on onto the Unravel billing page. Some of the new and really exciting capabilities, Unravel now supports all the latest Databricks runtimes. And for doing the same, we had to make certain decisions at the product level where we are now not collecting metrics using Ganglia, but relying on the proc file system to collect the metrics. One caveat here, so one of our metrics called as CPU speed, which was used on the resources tab when you go into the details of looking at the Spark application and its resource utilization over time. So CPU speed is something that we have now deprecated in the latest release, and we will no longer be supporting in this particular dropdown. Some other key improvements to call out. So Unravel is now, with the latest releases, faster with our faster polling APIs and so on. We have introduced some SLAs for you to get the insights onto your screens and much quicker timeout responses and all. We support Photon compute type and its pricing into your observability. We support the latest Azure and AWS instances for getting more accurate pricing into the workspaces that you have configured. Unravel has become much more robust with a stronger pipelines and some additional enhancements that we have done in the backend. And also it is going to provide more and more capabilities with some of the changes that we have done in the way we collect the data at a finer granularity. Some quick recap onto key announcements. With the latest releases, especially with the homepage that you saw where we give a cost breakdown and the trends of the cost over time and so on, as well as the billing page that we talked about a short while ago. You can now integrate your Azure cloud billing with Unravel. If you provide the details, you would be able to see exactly those numbers within Unravel. If the integration is not there, you will still be looking at the old and gold numbers that Unravel used to provide, which is with the approximation algorithms we use internally. We have upgraded Python to the latest versions, and so is Postgres upgraded too. And with the latest release, we have announced an end of support for Red Hat Linux 6. So that is all in terms of the demo. And thank you so much for listening in. And we are really excited to keep on developing our Databricks and AI product capabilities in the coming months. So stay tuned.
Thank you so much, Prajakta. That was a fabulous presentation and demo. And thanks everyone for joining today's event. We really appreciate your time and invite you to reach out to our team to learn more about Unravel for Databricks, and create your own free account at unraveldata.com/create-account. All right, thank you so much and look forward to seeing you on our future events.